Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another interview. Welcome, Ned.
Thanks for having me.
Pumped to have you, dude. This is a stellar result. I mean, this is about as good as it gets. 10K in 60 days being in the space. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I joined the RSA sort of tail end of July and then landed an offer like early August. So 2 months, yeah, two and a bit.
Awesome. So about 30 days to land your first role around there.
Oh no, it's like 2 weeks.
Okay, so
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
2 weeks to land
Let's
your
get it
first
right, Connor.
role.
Yeah.
Two weeks to land like a stellar S tier role,
hmm
and about 60 days to get to 10K a month as appointment setter. Is that
hmm
correct?
Yep.
Wild results, wild results. And for the guys watching, there's going to be a ton of value in this one because Ned's achieved some quite fast results. And it's not typical to do 10K a month in, 60 days, like all the marketers tell you, but Ned has achieved that result. I don't think that was to do with luck, maybe a partial small bit, but there's a lot of things that you did right that set you up from the beginning that I want to run through. Just your mindsets, how you view the industry, because I think a lot of guys on the YouTube channel will find that super valuable. But before we do all that type of stuff, I want to give the guys a bit of context and background of before you met me, what were you doing, what job were you working, and what did that look like?
Yeah, so I was at uni for a while, but kind of the whole time didn't really want to be there. I knew I wanted to get into the online space somehow. But I was like, you know what, got to finish your degree and everything, as you do. Um, But yeah, I was working like a sort of call center sales job part time at like a telco company. So mostly taking pretty much just order taking like inbound calls for the most part while I was at uni. Um, but then it was just like earlier this year where I basically had a conversation with a guy who was in like high ticket sales. He was living a really good life in the Philippines, like driving a Maserati and all this stuff. So pretty much living like the life that I wanted to live, right? And had a really good in-depth conversation with him over lunch, and he pretty much just put everything into perspective for me. And so then, yeah, pretty much decided to drop out of uni and just go full send into remote sales, which is pretty much the short and sweet of the past couple of years for me.
I love that. Yeah, that's a good background for so the guys have some good context. And funnily enough, we had a sales call for you to join the RSA. Like, how long before you actually joined?
Must have been, I think it was, when did you say it was? Like 2024, mid 2024, I think.
I think so. So a little bit over a year ago, or close to
Yeah,
like a year from when we first spoke to when you joined.
correct. Yeah. The reason being, I was doing like e-commerce while I was in uni as well.
Mm.
So just spent so much money on that. Lost thousands of dollars. Not that it can't work, but I was just a bit lazy back then, to be honest. But
Mm.
the main reason I hopped on that sales call was really to get a better understanding of remote sales because I thought that could be another pathway. And then yeah, this year I was like, yeah, remote sales is the go. And then I hit you up again and we went from there.
Love that. Sweet. And so we kicked things off. Um, you joined. I think you reached out back to me on Instagram, right? And you're just like ready to go from memory.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have a call. I just said I just said drop the payment link.
Just drop the payment link.
Full
Okay,
send.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we kick things off from there. And then what was it like going into the training? What was the next steps? What did your next 2 weeks look like in terms of like finding a role and like what was required?
Yeah. So I was working I think 4 days a week at my other job. And then just the rest of the time, like before and after work and on weekends and things, just studying over all the content. And then I did that for about a week. And then we had the sort of onboarding check-in call, which I think is like a week or two after you join. And that was really helpful because obviously you're going through all this stuff. There's so much information. It's easy to get a bit of like information overload. Had that call and that kind of gave me a bit of direction of, I guess, what to do next and what to focus on. But the main thing was really, yeah, just role acquisition. So networking, applying to jobs, um, grinding out like interview prep, looms and things like that.
Love that. And so in less than 2 weeks, we actually got on a call one on one because I was like, hey man, like you just smacked you out of the park in 2 weeks. You've landed like a S tier role in Australia. You're doing super, super well. What are you doing differently? Like, what is so special about you right now? And it was funny that conversation because I was really curious to know because obviously we have guys we work with that, take a little bit longer to find roles or happens really quickly, or, most people fall on like an average sweet spot. It's like 3 to 5 weeks to find their first role. I was like, what are you doing differently? Like, what is your mindset? How did you think differently? And you literally got on a call and she's like, I literally just did everything that
Yeah, I
was like,
felt
it's like step by step laid out in the training program. Like I just did that and just put a lot of effort into it and it worked. And I'm like, oh, nice to know.
yeah, pretty much. I felt like I almost felt foolish on that when we had that chat in a way because I was like, sorry to disappoint, man, but it's a bit of a boring answer. But I mean, it works, so
Mm,
there you go.
yeah, I love to hear that. And there's no special sauce or anything like that. That's like outside of the training. You just like followed everything that was laid out for you step by step, and you landed like a fantastic role in such a short time frame, which was amazing.
Mm,
And so to give the guys context on what it is that you sell, so if you're watching this interview, you might be in traditional sales, so kind of like Ned was, bit of a different type of sales, working in a call center, but still a variation of sales nonetheless. Or you might be just looking to make money online or working like a normal 9 to 5 in general. What, to give the guys an example of what it is that you sell, like what offer do you work on? Not the brand name, but like how do you
mm.
help people? What's the price, all type of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting because the one I'm on is quite different to a lot of the sort of info products that a lot of people in remote sales do sell. So I'm on like a real estate offer. So it's very service based, essentially helping people um, invest in property, essentially. But it's pretty much done for you, like complete service. As far as the price, anywhere from like 16 to 32,000. Um, yeah, that's about it, to be honest. I won't get
Super
into the nitty
interesting.
gritty.
No, I love that. And for reference as well, for anyone that's wondering, so Ned's 22, and it's so fascinating, even just an interview that I did with Joshua just last week previously. Like he's selling like 20, 60K packages, and it doesn't matter the age that you are. You can be selling such high ticket programs or setting for such high ticket programs and doing just fine.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with it's interesting with real estate as well, because I think Josh was on a real estate offer too for a while. Um,
Mm, yeah.
and you get people that think like because you're young, they'll try and boss you around a little bit, and you might even go into it, especially as like my first role, kind of thing like, oh, I'm young, I don't know anything about real estate. These people are older. Maybe some of them have like property portfolios and things. Um, but it actually just isn't an issue once you kind of learn the skills required. So that's always an interesting one.
Yeah, it's super interesting that you sell like a buyer's agent offer because
Mm,
funny enough, that's where I actually started to get my real start for those people that don't know, which was I initially started some sales consulting for a company who was a buyer's agent or is a buyer's agent, quite a big one in the space industry. And obviously, the industry has changed a lot over
mm,
the last couple of years. It's very, very different. But you've definitely found a good one because it was quite hard for me to build that business from the ground up. We started with a team of two salespeople, fired one, hired three. They went from about 100K, 120K cash collected a month to 350, the same leads the initial two guys had. And it's quite a lucrative industry, so I know it quite well, like
mm.
10, 15K plus. Long story short, just helping investors invest in property, right?
Pretty
Just getting the
much.
right information. Like you pretty much help with like capital growth and like all that type of stuff primarily, right?
Yeah,
Like where to invest and like renovation potentials, things like that.
correct. Yeah, pretty much taking care of everything. So clients don't have to do all the research on their own and find a property, negotiate, call up real estate agents and things. Pretty much just take care of everything for them. It's pretty cool.
Super cool offer.
Mm.
And that's just it's cool to give the guys reference to watch the channel. Like it's not just selling
Oh,
a
just
10K program on how
mm,
to get into drop shipping or whatever else. Like there's some really cool and interesting stuff out there, which is like a high ticket service that's designed to, people who are already a little bit successful and just want to put their money in the right place, which is really
mm,
cool to see. And so I think something that would be really valuable for a lot of guys watching this interview, in terms of your mindset, right? Because obviously you might think it's quite common, but I don't think the mindset you have is quite common in terms of the work ethic and the standard that you hold. What do you think from what you've seen yourself, personal experience, but also from the people you've observed around you? What do you think it takes as far as like a mindset and a work ethic perspective to be successful in this industry?
it's a very good question. Because yeah, like you said, I don't know if you remember, I actually messaged you, I think maybe 3 weeks after I joined the RSA, like asking about mindset stuff, thinking I was cooked. I don't know if you remember that, but yeah, I'd say to answer your question, um, it's just having a high standard for everything that you do. So even if it's like taking notes on the course or taking notes in like the trainings or role plays, whatever it might be, just taking notes like a super high detailed, very high standard, rather than just thinking, oh, I need to get through this module and then move on to the next one, and that's job done. And then take that through every step so that everything is done to the best of your ability. Because I think a lot of people just join these, like whether it's your program or it could be anything, they just join and then think, okay, I've got the info now. Now I'm gonna make a bunch of money. But no, it's actually like the effort that you put in is what's actually going to get the results. It's a simple answer, but that's pretty much it.
Super interesting. I think there's for those that are watching this that are in RSA at the moment or considering joining, I think there's a very big difference between showing up and then participation, right? You don't get the results for just showing up and maybe watching the trainings or like attending calls or anything like that. You get a reward for participating. And like in your case, an example as well, like just to give a shine a light on that, like you would come to every coaching call that you can, given your schedule and your flexibility with the hours you're working as well, and the thing, the dials you're putting in and everything else like that. But when you come to coaching calls, you're always putting your hand up, you're asking questions, you're adding things, like you're actually involved. And I think that's a very big point of difference for you and like every other case that ever in the YouTube channel of just participating and like getting
Mm.
involved and like actually like taking the action that most people don't.
Yeah, for sure. And even like Peter, that was because I think Peter was on one of the first calls that I joined. And so Peter's doing like 50K a month, anyone that's watching that's not aware. And you think like, yeah, go on.
All I was going to say is that's another thing to point out. I will be doing another in-person interview with him. He's coming to Dubai like back in November. We'll be doing in-person interview because it's just it's
Pretty nuts. Spoiler
ridiculous.
alert. But
Yeah, sorry.
no, I was gonna say because yeah, like he's making 50K a month, and obviously a big part of the RSA, the messaging and everything, is to help people break into the space. But he's fairly experienced and he's doing very well for himself. But even he's showing up to the coaching calls still and asking questions all the time. Like it's very much a student mindset, but then also actually proactively learning in a sense, not just being on the calls and kind of gathering a little bit here and there. You're actually trying to make the most of it.
It's a great observation, and I agree. There is pretty much like no instance where not having a student mindset, like it doesn't serve you in any way to not
Mm,
have a student mindset and have ego in the way. And I think probably the biggest killer, I think I may have told you on an onboarding call, or I can't remember specifically, but I share with most guys who join was like the silent ego is the biggest killer of results in this space and like working with me in general.
mm,
It's not the I'm better than, but it's like the silent voice that's constantly like,
mm.
maybe I'll try a different approach, or maybe I'll do a different way, or maybe this is easier, or maybe I should do this with slightly
Yeah,
different changes. Like that's by far the biggest killer I've seen with the guys I work with of just not being able to follow the blueprint step by step and word for word.
yeah. I definitely noticed that just from being in the space that they'll implement it to a degree, but I think what I did very well is that just textbook implementation of all the feedback from the coaching calls, but then even just all the course material. Like I said, taking like super diligent notes where it's like step by step, this is what you do, and then just doing that literally exactly as you say it. So it works.
100%. And so what else have you observed as well? Like you're in a pretty high performing team in a pretty like top company in Australia as well. Like what have you observed in the top performers? Because I don't know where you kind of reside on the leaderboard for setting. Like where do you sit at the moment?
It's a pretty small team to be fair. There's two setters. There's me and one other guy.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, he's still doing a fair bit better than I am, but catching up. So it's hard to say.
What's what's he earning in commissions?
I think last month he did like over probably around 25K, maybe a little bit more as a setter.
So
Just cooked.
wild. So you got an offer in 2 weeks where your earning was, 10K your second month setting, and you've got a setter right next to you that does 25K a month.
Yeah, I'll be there pretty soon. So
Wild.
yeah,
Super
I
cool.
remember just like a quick side note. I
Mm,
know in one of your trainings there's like I can't remember what it's called, but it's like classification of offers. There's like the bare minimum offer where you're just making enough money to like replace your income. Then there's the next one where like the income's better, but maybe the training's not too good. And then there's the dream offer where it's like there's people in that position making the money that you want. The training's good, there's room for growth, company's scaling. Um, and I landed this one and I was like, asked all the questions in the interview, blah blah blah. It ticks all these boxes and I'm like, this is just like a dream offer. It was just bizarre. I was like,
this
what's
is
going
too
on?
easy.
Just like
This
falling
is
into my
light
lap. It's
work.
crazy. Yeah, literally.
I'm loving
Yeah.
it. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. And so that's some pretty serious changes in terms of like lifestyle, right? Obviously, in terms of like the amount of income and the cash flow you have coming in now, you have a lot of growth potential. You're like, I'm going to be, 25K a month real soon, which is really cool to see. How has your mindset changed? How's your worldview changed? Like what's different from when, 60, 90 days ago? It's even crazy to say that. You're working in, a call center doing telecom sales. How do you view the world differently? How has things changed from 60, 90 days ago? Like what does your lifestyle look like now?
It's kind of funny because like I've just been sorry, can you hear that background noise by the way? You want
No.
me to cut that out? Okay, cool. Um, but no, it's pretty funny because like to be honest, the results that I've gotten or that most people who are successful in like whether it's sales or literally any kind of business model, there's obviously a level of lock-in required. So as far as lifestyle changes, if anything, I've been just been in my
Working
room
more.
a lot more, and then seeing the cash stack up in my bank account, not really getting to use it. But with that being said, the biggest shock to me was basically the whole time I've been in uni, which was like 2.5 years or whatever.
Mm,
I've been like half-assing e-commerce because I've also been like half-assing uni and then just kind of doing a bit of both. And then it's
yeah.
neither thing is like uni I'd get good marks and things, but then e-commerce I'd just get, you know, like I said, I was losing a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But what really changed was I decided to like make a firm decision to drop out of uni and then commit to remote sales. And the biggest shock for me was like just it's crazy how once you actually fully commit to something and just like this is it, I'm going all in, how quickly things can change. That's I still think about that like almost every day because being able to earn like yeah 10 grand a month from your laptop, you can live literally anywhere in the world. Like you might not necessarily be driving around in Lamborghinis and things, but at least you can live in any capital city fairly comfortably. And that's just like going from yeah, uni a few months ago, working this job which is like okay, but don't really enjoy it, to now having that sort of freedom, even if I'm still at home, but just knowing that I have it is I don't know, it's just a bit mind-boggling to be honest.
That's awesome, dude. I love that. Choice is the main thing, right? Like
Correct,
being
yeah.
able to have a choice that right now, and I appreciate you keeping it real as well. Like we try to keep that as much on the YouTube channel as well. Like it's not a magical pill where Ned kind of just took the RSA and he was, now making 10K a month. Kind of he is, but there was a lot of work to get there. There's a lot of
Mm,
work to sustain that. It's not an easy result to achieve and maintain. But I think the main thing that a lot of guys get in this industry for is freedom, like flexibility and choice ultimately
mm,
today. Yes, you're still going to be on calls. Yes, you're still going to be, strapped to your time zone. But in my honest opinion, it's like when you match it in contrast, like drop shipping or e-commerce, which, like you said, works. It still
mm,
works. Every business model works. But it just has its different, disadvantages and its
mm,
advantages. But particularly the advantage of high ticket sales, in my opinion, is like if you're a young guy, or you're even in your mid 20s, 30s, you got a bit of sales experience behind you, like this truly is the fastest and most simplest way with the most profit and least risk that you can break into the make money online space. Like truly, honestly, I do believe that. I've seen such a like long track record with this happening with people. Like at this point, again, we're at like 56, 57 plus people, hitting 10K plus a month with like, I think this would be like the 47th or 48th case that we film on the YouTube channel. Like it's just obscene what you can achieve when you really just put
mm.
a lot of hard work into one skill set that people will pay a lot of money for.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And so what do you think your family feels about like all this? Like they know anything about it? Are you still living at home? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, I live at home. I'm gonna move to Thailand next year, which we can touch on as well, which is pretty cool.
Sick. Awesome.
Um, but no, living at home, I told my parents I was deferring the semester rather than just like dropping out of uni completely, because that was my original plan, to be fair. Um, and then joined the RSA, landed the role, and before I even like started making money, I just knew it was a good opportunity. I was like, all right, mum, dad, I'm dropping out of uni. Like, I'm done with it. It's just there's no point. My dad was pretty understanding. He was a bit like, "Oh, what are you doing?" My mum was a little bit upset, a little bit annoyed. Um, but then I kind of gave them the rationale of like, this is what I want to do. I don't really want to just do uni and then get a typical 9 to 5. And then now that they've seen the results as well, they're like, this is awesome. So,
Love that. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Tell me about the trip to Thailand. What have you planned for there? Because I mean, the cool thing that I love about that is a lot of guys from the RSA have like made plans to move. Because obviously, there's a good amount of guys from Australia,
mm,
UK, all across the world, really. Um, but the cool thing is like just like let's go to Thailand, let's go live in Bali for a couple of months. Like that's so cool to see like the lifestyle that you guys have achieved and be able to unlock. Because like
mm,
there's honestly nothing that comes close. If you're a young guy watching this and you want to, travel like work in Thailand and Bali, it's the best thing you can possibly do, especially when you're making good money too. And 10K plus a month is really, really good money for places like that.
mm. Yeah, it's pretty insane. I'll say a couple of things on that is that, um, so like wanting to move to Thailand, it's kind of like I don't like using the word like dream, but it's a goal I've had for a little while, like probably a year and a half or 2 years. But then it's always something I've been like, okay, yeah, I'll get into the online space after uni. It's all happening after uni, whatever. Um, so then even though I'm not in Thailand right now, it's just the fact that I could move there and then kind of fulfill this goal that I've had for years and years. Just because, a couple months ago I decided to make that decision. That's kind of what I was talking about before, where it's like crazy how quickly your life can change in such a short period of time. Because like right now I could just be living it up in Thailand, 10K a month, which is like pretty baller over there. And yeah, like 2 months ago, I was just working this office job, having to catch the train into work every day under like fluorescent lights, work from dark till dark pretty much. Um, so it's pretty insane. And then the other thing I was going to say was, I'd say a big thing about the RSA that I really like is the fact that a lot of Aussies in there for one, but just like the community aspect. Like I'm moving over there. I was going to do it anyway, but I've met a few good guys that I'll move in with, just have like a little sales house going. It's going to be pretty keen for it.
That's sick, man. No, I love that. Yeah, I've heard pretty routinely like the guys who are case studies or even guys who are doing like 5, 6K a month. There's a ton of guys in
Mm.
RSA that haven't told me that they've hit 10K a month before or they're making like 5, 6, 7K plus a month and we've never spoken about it because the big thing with RSA that is a bit of a problem is that the results are so high that people think that anything less than 10K a month is not a great result,
Yeah, it's crazy.
which,
Wasn't that,
you
didn't
know,
Ifan posted about that the other day? Or
yeah,
someone.
exactly.
Mm.
Ivan
Shout out
posted
Ifan.
that he made 7K US in a month and he's just like, oh, this is nothing compared to what's in here. I'm like, dude,
It's
that's
nuts.
awesome. Like
Yeah.
he literally came from only a couple months ago, like I think like 3, 4 months ago, from corporate sales of some sort. I can't remember specifically. We will 100% be doing an interview this month. I think he's made, gosh, man, I think it was like, he's already some ridiculous number for this month already.
6.5 or something.
Yeah, like 6.5 this month already USD in like
Yeah.
11 days. So
Crazy.
he's definitely on pace to hit it this month, and we'll do an interview next month as well. So definitely be cheer for that on the channel. But anything beneath 10K a month, even 5, 6, 7K a month is a amazing result. To
Yeah.
be online and unlock that choice and that flexibility and freedom is it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Like I think because I always compare it, I think my yardstick, well, not my yardstick, but I guess before kind of having my horizons expanded in terms of like how much money you can make. Yeah, my yardstick was kind of okay, how much would I make if I graduated uni and then got into a job, which maybe if you got a really good job, it's like 100K a year, which is like 8.3 a month or something. But realistically, it might be like 85K a year, which is whatever that is. I don't know, 7K. So yeah, I mean, if you're making that much online, like compared to what you can see, and do get. Maybe it doesn't seem like much, making sort of 5 to 7K a month, but realistically, it's one a similar salary to what a lot of people make while working like shitty office jobs. They just, they got to clock in and out. But then now you got that freedom to kind of live where you want to go, which for me is the biggest thing. So I think it's pretty cool.
100%. What were you studying again? Remind me.
Bachelor of Business, which is like the most useless degree of all time.
Pretty much the same feedback that I get from everybody
Yeah,
that studies
it's
a bachelor
brain
of
dead.
business and marketing and everything else.
Yeah.
Like, do you know like what career that you're gonna go to at the back end of that, and like how long it would take you to get like a six-figure year salary with that degree?
I was gonna get into sales anyway, whether it was remote sales or corporate sales, like tech sales. So I mean, tech sales you can get 6 figures, like it's entry level role is fairly doable. But I was doing a major in like accounting, for example. I think if I went down that route, it'd be like get my degree, then do another sort of certification, and then maybe you'd be earning like, yeah, maybe 75 or 85K a year. And then to get to 6 figures might take a couple more years on top of that. So it's like, what's that? Like 5 years, 5 extra years versus 3 months.
It's wild. And
Easy
like,
decision.
I mean, for you it was in 3 months, but even if like, if someone who was watching this interview wanted like a more of like an average expectation, like, would it be that bad if 6 months to a year you're able to learn a skill set and be really give it your all and have the capacity to make six figures a year at the back end of it and have freedom and flexibility and choice to be able to go everywhere around the world? Like,
Mm,
it's insane to me that you would choose an alternative path, unless you're looking to be like a doctor or a lawyer or anything that would require like a degree. Like,
mm,
it is, unless you can't talk to people for the life of you, which you can learn to do that anyway.
mm.
I don't know why you'd go the other way, but that's a whole kettle of worms which we could probably
Yeah.
go down for like
Yeah, it
10
is.
15 minutes, but I digress. Coming back to the main point. So you had some feedback for the RSA earlier in terms of like the quality of the community and the guys that you know have enjoyed meeting in it, and you've moving to Thailand, sales houses, all type of good stuff. What other feedback would you have for the RSA in general, like the community, working with me, the training as a whole?
Yeah, I'd say I think because I think the hardest thing for a lot of people when you're first getting into the space is landing a good offer. And I'm sure you've said this before, like offer is one of the, if not the biggest lever you can pull to like affect your income within remote sales. Like skills is one thing, but the offer is very important. So I think what the RSA does very well is just in the course alone, not even mentioning the coaching calls and access to yourself, which I'll get to. Um, it's like literally everything you need broken down step by step to land very, very solid offers, as me and countless others have found. Um, so yeah, I think in that regard, it's super awesome. And then having the coaching calls, I don't know, I think I was going to like 4 or 5 a week at the start there. So having access to you and Lucas is pretty awesome, just asking questions whenever. Plus, you get answers from other people as well, you know? Because I think a lot of people maybe they don't like the thought of group coaching, but in my opinion, it can be more beneficial because you get the opinion of yourself, but also other people that might be like just ahead of you and they've just experienced, just been through exactly what you're going through right now. I think that's super cool. And lastly, I'd say probably one of the biggest things, which was like just awesome, is having 24/7 access to yourself, like on messages and getting a response back in under 24 hours. Like that was huge. I spammed you quite a bit, especially at the start. So well worth it.
No, I love that. That's great. And that's a big reason why a lot of guys end up, coming and work with me, because I mean that's personally what I attribute to having such great results, because you have speed of communication with someone who's actually done what you want to do. And there's so many data points of people being successful, so they know the do's, they don'ts. And in my opinion, with anything that you're trying to approach and learn and get good at or be successful with, the faster and the speed at which you can communicate with someone who can solve the problems for you is going to constrict the timeline horizon and mitigate the mistakes you're going to make and the lessons you need to learn in a shorter time horizon that again, it could take years to, 6 months to a year realistically.
Mm,
And so something I wanted to mention there that you highlighted on group training calls, I completely agree, but I think group training and group coaching has to be done in the right way. if you're thrown into a group of 100 people in a group coaching call, it's probably not going to be that beneficial or productive.
Mm,
And I think the RSA has a really unique advantage from that element where you're not going to have too many people on a coaching call where you're always going to get your question answered. And it's always like a tight little group that you always got. And it's the same people that always come to coaching calls every single week. It's a
mm,
very intimate setting. And I think you always get your questions answered to great detail.
mm.
Very rarely do you not have the time to do the things you need to do. But also as well, I talk about this quite frequently, which I think you'll agree with because you mentioned about Peter earlier, the 55K month earner.
Mm.
Um, Having that exposure to people on a group coaching call, you going like, holy shit, whoa, like I
Yeah.
just got on a group coaching call. This guy's making 55K a month. He's just there casually, just like, Peter, I mean, for you guys that don't know Peter as well, he's just very casual, very
So
laid
normal.
back guy
Yeah.
that swears
Same.
a lot. That swears a lot.
Mm.
Keep in mind. And you get exposed to like what's actually really out there and what's possible. It breaks so many beliefs for you of like, this guy's on this call with me right now in a group of 12 people. He's making 55K a month and he's just asking these questions. Like, this is crazy to me. Like,
Mm.
personally, that's how I would feel in that context.
Yeah. It was definitely huge because yeah, I'm pretty sure that call with Peter was I literally think it was the second maybe the second ever group coaching call I joined. And then yeah, found out he's making like 50K a month. But the biggest thing was that he's just a normal dude at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like shout out Peter, he's a very hard worker and he's a beast. But he's not like I don't know, like you might look at someone like Elon Musk and like this guy works like 16 hours a day. That's just inhuman. But when you're exposed to all these people making like even like 20K a month, even 20K a month, which is a lot, don't get me wrong. But they're just like normal dudes. Or even Josh, he's 19 and he's doing like 10K a month. And he's just like, yeah, 10K a month. It's just scratching the surface. He's like, what's that? What's up? Even Ryan, like you said, just hit 40K a month.
Yeah.
Um, and he's just like a normal dude. And I was like, if these guys can do it, so can I. And that was huge for sure.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Like, I mean, even think of like Josh and Ryan as well. Like, they only got started like 11 months ago. Josh a
Mm,
little bit less,
mm,
Ryan around like 11 months. And to be able to do that type of money at that age is just obscene. Like, it is
stupid.
truly ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
hard to wrap your mind around, to be honest, truly.
Yep. It's insane, but very inspiring. And it
Yeah,
makes it, it puts it in reach. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to think like, shit, how could I ever get to 50K a month or even 100K a month? And then you see someone, you know someone doing it. And it's just like, it's right there, you know? So
100%. If you were to speak to someone who's like looking to get into the industry, as far as like they're kind of in between, they're not too sure, they've watched a couple interviews on the YouTube channel, or they're just kind of sure about high ticket sales or kind of not too sure. Like, what would you tell someone who's like a beginner or looking to kind of get started in the space?
I'd say if your goal is to make money online and you're tossing up different business models, I'd say just pick one and go full send on it and fully commit. But as far as I think the very, very strong case can be made for high ticket sales, purely from the fact that it's one single skill that you can just get super duper good at. You're not trying to like wear all these different hats where like, with e-commerce, you got to learn marketing, you got to learn copy, website design, finding a good product. There's like so many skills you have to learn. And then in the meantime, while you're learning them, you're constantly spending money to learn it. Whereas with sales, it's like you got to pay for mentorship, sure, but that's just a one-off cost. And then now you've got a skill for life. And it's just like one skill, you get good at it, you get paid, job done. So I think there's a strong case to be made, but the biggest thing is just the commitment, I'd say.
Love that. And is there any final notes you wanted to share on the interviews? Anything you wanted to mention before we finish up?
Hey, not really. Just not really, eh? Just appreciative of the RSA. It's a good program.
Love that. No, I appreciate the feedback as always. So yeah, guys, hopefully you got a lot of value out of the interview. I think it was really good speaking to Ned, to see, just to look into like what are like my top clients do, how do they think, how do they show up, and how do they think about the industry differently? Because again, Ned's one of those results where he's gotten results really quickly, which is not always the case. Like we're very transparent about that on the YouTube channel. Like he's done very, very well in a short time duration. I think there's a lot of things you can take away from this interview whether or not you want to join the RSA or whether or not you want to get in a high ticket sales space. I think there was a lot of things that Ned said today that was insanely valuable. So if you want to become like Ned, as always, there's an application down in the description box below to book a call with myself or a team member of mine to see if there might be some alignment for you as well. But otherwise, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the interview and we'll see you guys next one.
Cheers, Connor.